Welcome to the cockpit. My name's Ryan, and I'll be your pilot tonight. Boys and girls, I'm all sorts of excited to talk to you. A little pregame action. Jets versus Browns tonight. Thursday Night Football kicking off just after 8 p.m. Looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say. A little Q&A action going on before we hop into the rest of the show. I figure we'll do the ad read. Let's get it out of the way. If you guys want to play along, I know the season is lost for our New York Jets, and there's not a whole lot of stuff to root for this particular point in time, but you can try to win a little bit of money. If you want to do that, head over to Underdog Fantasy and enter my promo code JETS247. It'll get you a 100% match up to $100 for your first time deposit. If you do that, helps out the show. They continue to sponsor, and you guys can possibly win some money. As far as my pick'em for this week, not overly optimistic heading into this one. A $20 entry could get you $400 or basically 20 extra money. So if you want to put in $1, you could win $20. You figure it all out with all that good stuff. But as far as this goes, 31.5 yards for Breece Hall. I think I'm going to take the higher on that for receiving yards. Dude's been electric. Jerome Ford, I do think he's going to end up having more rushing yards than the 12.5. I thought that was a nice low number. I think the Browns are going to beat the Jets, so they'll be in kind of eat the clock mode. Njoku has been a primary target for Joe Flacco, especially of recent. And Amari Cooper is dealing with an ankle injury or heel injury. Not exactly sure which one it is. So I think he can eclipse that 10.55 fantasy points. I think he does catch a touchdown today. Joe Flacco, I'm going to have him going under 22.5 completions this week. I think the Jets are going to lock him down from a secondary perspective, but also because our offense isn't going to be scoring many points, he's not going to have to throw the ball a whole heck of a lot. And then I have Tyler Conklin higher than 27.5 receiving yards. I think it's basically looking for a low number. That's what I got for that one. So if you want a maxed out stretch for this one, or you could do any combination of it. You don't have to do all 5 of these. You just don't get the 20 times multiplier if you don't do all 5. If you wind up picking one of the ones with a little chili pepper next to it, which I didn't do in this particular one because I waited too long to do it, you get a little like 2.5 multiplier. It really boosts everything up. But if you want to head over there, use my code JETS247. Get you a nice little deposit match. All right. Leave my little ticker going across the bottom so you can remember that code. Yeah, boys and girls, I see you guys in the chat. We will do call-in questions. So I did not prep this at all. This is what happens when I'm like coming back from the holiday break and stuff. I'm not really... not as dialed in as I normally am. That's all right. We'll work through it. We'll get through it together. All right. So chat questions. I see Dakota in there. Says can't wait. Make sure you hit those milk thumbs. Radimus says, Dakota, are you seriously hyped up for this game? Radimus, we're all hyped up for this game. I don't know what you're talking about. The Jets are going to lay the lumber tonight. Hope so. Moises, having himself a good old time. Just smoking, waiting for Ryan. Hope the Jets don't win, but don't suck today. Look, I'll be honest. I am hoping for a win because this is a win that by beating the Commanders, you're kind of taking yourself out of the top 5 conversation. You have a less than a 1% chance to get into it. So I want to see the most wins anyway. And it's not that I didn't want to win against the Commanders necessarily. It's not the way I wanted to win more than anything else. But if you can give me like good production out of our young players here and you can find a way to win, like if you had last week's game this week, I'd be real impressed with it. I don't mind winning. I just don't have a whole lot of faith this week. This one seems a little far-fetched. J-Boy says, you going to be mad if we win this one? No, I won't be mad. There was a difference between leapfrogging the Commanders to have a shot at the 3 pick and now where we're sitting like maybe getting as high as like the 6 or 7 pick, and it's not the same for me. So I'll be happy. NY Flight Jets talk. This is our boy Connor. Yeah, we'll do some call-ins. Let's do them at 7 o'clock. So we got 12 minutes, and then I'll open up the phone lines, talk a little bit to the chat, give you guys some of my thoughts. You guys do see Nightbot dropping the call-in number in there as well. Ukulele says, take a gummy to calm your nerves. The best way to watch a Jet game. Just relax. Don't let yourself get too high. Don't let yourself get too cold. Apparently last week it didn't work. I went into that game numb, and I was like, I just want to see good football. And I saw great football, and then I flipped back into fan mode. I was like, let's friggin' go. Let's run it down their throat. Let's absolutely kick their teeth in. And then we gave up 20 points in a row. And I was like, well, damn, like that's not the dominant team I want to see against a very inferior opponent. And then my brain flipped, and I was like, man, if we can find a way to lose, at least I'll feel a little bit better about this game. I'm not going to feel good about it if we barely squeak by the Commanders. And then I wound up, you guys saw my post game. A little frustrated. It's all right. This game is going to be a doozy from a offensive production standpoint, I think. I don't think it's going to be a very good game. I believe the Jets are not favored. The Browns are favored by 7.5 points. I would take the Browns and the points for this game because I don't see the Jets offense and Trevor Siemian getting the ball down the field and scoring points. Now, Flacco is entirely capable of having interceptions. He had, I think it was 3 last week. And I could see the Jets getting the ball in plus territory. That's the only way our team is going to stay in business this week because I don't think Siemian is going to move us down the field with any sort of efficiency. Now, as far as the, Joe Flacco is concerned, a stat I just heard that really pisses me off? Garrett Wilson has the same amount of touchdown passes from Zach Wilson as he does from Joe Flacco. 2-2. Oh, come on. Garrett Wilson having himself another good year. Needs 42 yards to be the second Jet to have 2,000-yard seasons to start his career. That was last done by Keyshawn Johnson. Was it 98, 99, or 99, 2000? 98, 99, I think, were the 2 years. But Keyshawn was the last one to do it. Been a long time coming for the New York Jets. Garrett Wilson having himself a good year. Breece Hall having himself a good year. You got to lean on those two. But the defensive pass rush for the Browns is going to feast on our offensive line. I think Myles Garrett is just going to toy with Mekhi Becton. I expect Becton to give up at least 1 sack, probably 2 tonight. I do not have high hopes for this offensive line. Guys that I'm going to be watching tonight, I'm looking at Carter Warren on the right-hand side. Can he be a swing tackle moving forward? Is there some hope for maybe even better than that? Like maybe you maybe feel a little more comfortable about your tackle situation. If you bring in someone at left tackle, with AVT being the potential emergency left tackle, then you have maybe J.C. Latham or another tackle you bring in the draft with Carter Warren sitting behind him. Maybe feel a little bit more comfortable. I think Carter Warren's a potential exciting piece for us from a depth perspective for a low investment. 4th round pick. Could have been higher if he didn't have the injury at Pitt. Now, as far as other players, Izzy Abanikanda, would love to see a little bit more out of Izzy. I think he had 4.8 yards a carry last week. Give me more Izzy. I don't want to see any more Dalvin Cook. Breece and Izzy, rest of the way. Wide receiver-wise, I expect Garrett to do Garrett things. Just don't get hurt. Brownlee and Gibson, I'm looking at you. Keep it in a sharp eye. Can you guys be rotational pieces next year? Could you be more than that? Would love to see that. On the defensive side, going to be keeping my eye on everyone, really. Can you get any pressure on Joe Flacco? Are you able to stop this Browns offense? Obviously, no Nick Chubb. You got Ford. You got Hunt. Amari Cooper's a little hobbled. This secondary, if you can get some turnovers, I think the Jets wind up being in this game. But man, I got a gut feeling. It doesn't make me feel good. I hope Joe Flacco doesn't get 300 yards. Jets haven't allowed a 300-yard passer in over a year. Part of that is because we are getting blown out so frequently, teams don't need to pass. But in the games we're not allowing 300-yard passer. We're being pretty locked down. I mean, just look at some of the stud quarterbacks we went against this year. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Herbert. Oh, I see Cuca Lake says Cooper is out. Oh, man. Sauce versus Elijah Moore. Interesting. Interesting stuff. The other play I'm looking forward to watching, Zach Kuntz. With Jeremy Ruckert being knocked out with the concussion, I am looking forward to watching him. Connor wants you guys to know, tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m., he will be live on his NY Flight Jets Talk, breaking down the biggest takeaways with Boy Green. Make sure you sub up Connor. Head over that way. I see Brian Farrell saying the Jets are good. Need a little magic mushrooms to make yourself feel good, I guess. It's all right. Billy SBC says, I would put Becton at right guard to see if he can do that for us. I mean, at this point, if you could put Becton at any other position other than tackle, go for it. But I don't think he wants to do it, and I think you're probably more than likely not bringing him back. Unless he's willing to take like $5 or $6 million, I couldn't do it. Hugh Lake, Connor, I gotta sub your stuff. You're getting the big gun on your show. You'll be replacing O'Leary on the Tuesday show soon. Connor, we'll get you on. We'll get you on the Tuesday show. We'll add you on there. We have, I think Blewett's going to come on next. Oh, no, you know what? That might be a Monday. I got to reach out to a few people. I got to start getting more guests on those shows. I have so much fun with Matt and Green Bean that I don't generally have a guest on. I guess I could do the Monday show. Monday show could be a little bit more guest-oriented. Maybe I'll do that. GV says, if Cooper is out, one would think that would matter. See Tyreek Hill. I think it'll definitely matter because now you can shift your coverages. Now, maybe it won't matter and they just won't have their best receiver on Sauce's side of the field. They'll just keep him on DJ Reed's side, which you would hope DJ Reed could lock down everyone on the opposing side. John the W says, going to be a 1 a.m. kickoff over in UK. Wonder what time I'll rage and go to bed. Haha, second quarter. Jonathan, thank you for tuning in from across the pond. It's always appreciated. I would say I'm not going to rage this game. This is one that I am going into numb, and I'm hoping for a win because this win will mean more than the Commanders win. I also don't really want to be in a situation where we lose this game and we wind up losing the Patriot game, and that Commanders win ends up costing us the 3 pick. I don't want to go there because I hate this revisionist history shit. But I hear you. Let's see. Sneakers Boots. What's up, dude? Talking Carter Warren will have his chance to prove his potential against the pass rush tonight. If he proves it in the run game, we may have just found something. We need to be able to get some of these good players on our offensive line from non-premium picks. So Carter Warren being a 4th-round pick, if he can provide you even swing tackle depth, that you call that a success. Someone you feel confident with, if he could be your right tackle, he has the ceiling to do it. I really like Carter Warren. He had a great game last week. After the first 3 weeks he played, a little shaky. But he's a rookie, developmental guy, coming off an injury. I like Carter Warren. I have a thumbnail made up about a hidden gem. And I want to go into that, but I think I'm going to wait till after this game and maybe after the Patriot game and do a little sample size of the different blocks from Carter Warren. I really like him. Brian says, I'm not even wearing Jets gear tonight. You know what? I went out in my new hoodie. Got this for Christmas. Went out, picked Shay up from daycare, and one of the daycare teachers was like, yeah, go Jets. I was like, holy shit, there's another one out here. Thank goodness. Still showing our pride out there. GVH says, our stubborn coaching staff still won't adjust to Cooper being out. That's sort of how I feel. They're not going to move guys all over the field, but I feel like if you were to ask Sauce and Reed to just flip-flop occasionally and everyone else just kind of does their stuff, I feel like at least have those two follow. I don't know. It seems like it shouldn't be that hard to have 1 or 2 players play man and everyone else still worry about their responsibilities. Carmelo says, let's go. I wanted to tank till I realized my boys on. Let's win, baby. So I definitely, I don't expect us to win, so it's not going too far. But I would like to win. If you can get a win in this game, if you could play the game you played last week, great. If you're going to come out flat like Miami, I mean, just come out flat. I don't want to like blow a lead late like we did with the Commanders, but if you can win in that fashion against a good team, it's going to mean a lot more to me. It's going to mean a whole lot more. Cuke Lake comes in and says, I hope Carter Warren does well. I want to see him be next year's swing tackle, playing with Bakhtiari and Jonah Williams and J.C. Latham. So I really think Bakhtiari is going to be our left tackle because there's not good depth in the tackle market in free agency, and Rodgers is going to convince him to come here because we will switch our field to grass. I think that's going to happen. I think when Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson, like literally your stars on your team are saying, yo, we got to go to grass. I think you just do it. Make it happen. What's the worst thing that happens? You switch back. It's a business write-off. So in that scenario with Bakhtiari, I do think AVT winds up being the emergency left tackle. I think AVT's plan is to be a tackle long-term. His fifth-year option is enormous. That's kind of how you justify it. Jonah Williams, I would love to bring him in. I don't know if he leaves Cincinnati. If you can, great. As far as drafting J.C. Latham, I would only draft, I shouldn't say I'd only draft J.C. Latham if you didn't get a right tackle, but I feel like I would not spend our first round pick on a backup at that point with J.C. Latham because he's going to be a top 10 pick from what it seems like, or at least like the Jets are probably his floor. If we're picking 12, maybe he goes 12. I would say one of Jonah Williams or J.C. Latham would be my preference. And honestly, it's probably J.C. Latham at this point. And then you bring in more free agent dollars for the wide receivers. Arizona Jet says, yo, I'm here. Charrise is a real douche nozzle. Says, let's go Browns, beat the Jets. What a jerk. Cuke Lake says, don't have Tigo on. I love Tigo. Tigo, come on. Tigo, come on whenever. I could talk to Tigo all day. I don't agree with all his takes. Tigo's good people. Carmelo says, my brother bought me a starter jacket, jet jacket. I love it, not going to lie, still wear it proud AF. I try to get Jet stuff all the time. Like Christmas, everything. The freaking Jet shop, they do such a good job. Everything I buy that's like legit NFL gear is just so nice. Sounds like bath time. It's going swimmingly out there. Hi, Kung Fu. Says, off topic, Ryan, would you start James Cook or Zamir White in fantasy? James Cook has been hot. I did not get to watch their game versus the Chargers, though. So I can't really, I didn't get to see that. And I can't really give you fantasy advice because my team's all crap the bed. Kyle Pitts this year and unfortunately Breece Hall, the two of them, I probably drafted both those guys a little too high. And while Breece went off the other night, I wasn't in the playoffs to make it. And that's more of a reflection on my other selections, I think, than it is them. Pitts was bad, though. I usually don't go with him. Joel comes and says, I'm drinking whiskey tonight. What should be my dare? Every touchdown, take a shot, or every turnover, or something else? Wow. You can do every first down. Take like 3 shots. Or every third down conversion, I guess 3 shots. I would say touchdown. Touchdowns, you'll be stone cold sober. If you do sacks, I would do sacks, Joel. I feel like Simeon's probably going to take 3, 4, 5 sacks. I believe the underdog stuff for this week for sacks was like over 2.5. I think it was 3 sacks what you needed to hit. It's close. I don't want to be pessimistic about it. Frank says, why is Lazard not playing tonight? What a waste of an offseason signing. I would imagine it's because he's not good. And that gives me at least the confidence that this head coaching staff is not playing someone purely because of contract. He has been booty cheeks all season. But yeah, waste of an offseason. My saving grace is like, did Lazard signing here influence Rodgers in any capacity to come here? Because if he did, Still sucks from like a financial standpoint. You wish you could have attracted him without him, but at least you got Rodgers here. Billy says, we're going to get pretty stomped tonight, I think. But it's for the best right now. Optimistic we are. Radimus says, nah, Ryan, Rodgers literally defended the turf a week or so ago. Damn it! I want grass. So Bakhtiari's probably not coming if they're not going to swap. All right, let's see. Let's jump over to some phone calls. What am I doing here? I will put this up on the screen. I see Connor and Nick already calling in. Good stuff, boys. Give me just a second, and I will throw the QR code on the screen. And switch over. You guys know our boy, Connor. Welcome to the show, Connor. Congratulations on launching your new channel.
Thank you. I just hit 73 subscribers, I think it was today. So you guys clearly loved Boy Green, so he's coming back on tomorrow morning at 10:30. But honestly, I think the Jets are lucky if they score 10 points. I don't see us winning. I've been rooting for wins all along, but unfortunately, I do not see us winning.
Yeah, I would say this is probably a far cry for a win. The matchup just is not good. Elite defense, especially elite defensive line against an offensive line for the Jets that's just not very good. Do you think Flacco gets the 300-yard mark?
I think there's a good chance he does because he reminds me of the way Brett Rippon kind of plays and just doesn't care and just throws the ball downfield. But I think the Jets have a chance to get a lot of sacks. Bryce Huff, Quinnen Williams, Jermaine Johnson, because he literally can't move. So we just need to put pressure on him. And then I think Sauce can get a pick, but we just need to pressure Joe.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, if you can get some pressure on Flacco, he's proven to turn the ball over. He's got 10 touchdowns in his 4 games, but he's also got 7 picks. And the Jets defense, I think, is probably the best defense that he's faced so far.
I agree. We just need to put pressure on him, and he'll panic, and he'll throw the ball. But when it comes to the offensive side of the ball, we really just got to just score points. Like the Tony Adams interception last game put the ball at the 20-yard line or whatever it was, and we settled for a field goal. Like, that's not okay. And when it comes to Saleh saying his coaching staff is all going to be back next season, that's just like, I know Hackett and Douglas and Saleh are all going to be back, but Keith Carter, Todd Downing, those guys, I mean, it's just the coaching's been abysmal, and I just hope this game is not like the Patriots debacle or like the Falcons debacle.
Yeah, no, I want to see some type of offensive firepower. Give me second half of the Texans. Give me first half of the Commanders.
Yes.
I like that's what I want to see. Give me a complete game. I don't want to see like a flop and a fold because it feels like we're getting far more of that this year than I really want to see.
I totally agree. The pick does not matter to me. You're still going to have to hit on the pick. 1989, 21st overall. Jets select a fullback, Roger Vick, with their pick. That just shows how bad this team is at drafting.
Dude, we have been bad at drafting for quite some time. And I really wanted the top 3 pick. I wanted the chance to get a Marvin Harrison Jr. And now that we won the game against the Commanders, it's like, well, I really want to win another game, so I'm not like looking back at that last game thinking like, well, we screwed it up. I don't know. Final score prediction tonight, Connor.
21 to 6 or 10 Browns.
I was like, oh, is he going to pick the Jets? I don't think so. Connor, thanks so much for the call. Why don't you plug your channel one more time?
NY Flight Jets Talk tomorrow morning, 10:30, going live with Boy Green, breaking down the biggest takeaways from Jets vs. Browns. Ryan, I hope you enjoy the game, and I'll see you soon.
I love it, Connor. I'll talk to you later. Sub up. Boom! You've been ejected from the cockpit. I've got Nick, then I've got Steven on the line, but I want to jump over to Fernando Super Chat. Thank you so much, buddy. Really appreciate it. He says, I do want to say when Arsenal soccer played at MetLife, they did replace the turf for grass during the summer since soccer teams refuse to play on turf. Just amazing. We apparently can't do it permanently. So even if you can swap it out for that brief amount of time, the Broncos have redone their sod twice in the last year. Twice. I know they got Walmart money, but we got Johnson & Johnson money. We should be able to figure this out. All right. Let's go over to Nick. How you doing, brother?
What's up, Brian?
How are you feeling for tonight's game?
Honestly, pretty good. A lot better than normal.
Pretty good, like excited for the game, like accepted defeat. Like where are we on this spectrum here?
I'm thinking the Cooper being out situation is interesting. Now, Sauce doesn't travel, so it doesn't really matter in that sense, but it's a depth issue. And I don't think Cleveland has wide receiver depth. So that's a plus for us in that scenario. Again, Flacco, we know, can't move. So there's some benefit. I think they're going to have a shot fourth quarter to win this game.
That would make me feel good. I would love to get a win against Flacco and the Browns. It's just they're the team I wish the Jets could have been with all our injuries.
There's one thing I will say, and in history, like we're all miserable as Jet fans, right? We've seen some garbage losses, but there's one franchise that's seen it just as much as us, and it's the Browns, and they've seen it to us with Flacco, like just a year ago. So, I mean, I don't know. There's some weird juju that happens just as much to the Cleveland franchise, and again, not saying it's going to happen this year, but they know how to lose just as bad as we do. So I wouldn't be shocked if fourth quarter we see a Gibson punt return or a pick six or something crazy that alters the game and we win.
Yeah, I think the only way the Jets have a shot is if the defense gets the turnovers on Flacco. We were talking 10 touchdowns for Flacco in 4 games, but 7 turnovers, and this is the best defense that I think he's faced so far. I don't know. Final score prediction. What do you think?
I think it could be 2017 Jets.
Ooh, okay. So you're going over on the points. I believe the points, the over-under was 34. I took the under. I don't have faith on us at all.
No, I go against the grain, so let's give it a shot.
You're wild, Nick. You've been ejected from the cockpit. You're out of here. Now let's head over to Steven. Steven, how you doing, brother?
How you doing, man?
Hanging in there. I'm trying to keep positive on this whole Jets final 2 game of the season thing.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of positivity. I don't know. I'm going to come in as the harbinger of bad news here. I think Joe Flacco is going to embarrass us.
Oh, dude, that's like so Jets too. It's like win against the Commanders, screw up your draft pick. The quarterback that could have led your team that wanted to is going to blow the doors off you, and then you're going to lose to Belichick the final week of the season, or you're going to win, give the Patriots the quarterback. We're going to hurt our draft. I expect the worst case scenario all the time.
Of course, and I think we're gonna win that game against the Patriots, and I think Bill Belichick is gonna get the last laugh because he's gonna get the better draft. I don't know.
Now I think Belichick probably gets canned or he leaves New England. I don't think he's there next year.
It might not though. I don't know. They're always so tricky with that New England reporting. But with this Joe Flacco thing, I think because I don't know if you watched that press conference with Saleh, but he said that we have a soft spot for him for Flacco. I don't know if Flacco has a soft spot for us, though.
No, I would say that's probably less.
Yeah, I think he's going to want to come in and give us an ass kicking. So I don't know. I don't think it's going to be a pretty one.
I think Njoku's going to be a thorn in our side tonight. I think he's the X factor.
Absolutely, and Njoku's nothing to scoff at. I don't think so.
What do you think? Final score prediction? Is it going to be close? Do you think it stays under the 34-point over/under?
I don't know. I think it's probably. I think we're gonna hold them under 30, but I think they're still gonna get an ass kicking on us. Maybe something like 21-3, something like that. I don't. I'm nervous.
I have a hard time seeing points coming on our side. Trevor Siemian moving the ball on that defense.
Huh?
Trevor Siemian moving the ball on that defense.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think so. He didn't look terrible last game, but he also didn't look great. So,
do you think that do you think Becton gets worked by Myles Garrett tonight? Like, do you think we see a lot of sacks across the board, or are we able to like somehow neutralize it?
There's no way it's going to happen. Becton hasn't been doing anything. He's been getting steamrolled these past few games. It's not even like he's putting up a chance.
No, the most sacks in the NFL. He was highest in penalties, or top 5 in penalties, I think, at one point.
God,
it's brutal. Like the whole argument has been like, as long as he stays healthy, he'll be good. And
you can't win. It's unwinnable.
100%. Steven, thank you so much for the call. Been ejected. You're out of here. The cockpit. Boys and girls, if you'd like to call in, I'm going to be doing this till about 7:30, so we got about 18 minutes left. Cuke Lake, Connor's the man. That was just one awful pick out of years of misery. Looks at Blair. Let's see. D. Riley says, what's the most important thing the Jets need to resolve this offseason? It is 110% the offensive line. If you do not fix this offensive line, there is no hope for the future. No hope. You got to be able to fix the offensive line. You got to get wide receivers. And I say backup quarterback. Dude, backup quarterback got a lot harder to find. We need a backup quarterback. But with Aaron Rodgers committing to the next few years, at least saying he envisioned playing 2 more, do you think Gardner Minshew or Jacoby Brissett or any of the top-level backups that we're seeing want to come to the Jets knowing Rodgers is going to plan to be here? I think if it was left as more of an open-ended, like, oh, maybe they could be the heir apparent to Rodgers, it would be a little more enticing. Like, I don't think we're going to get a good backup, and I think it almost provides a little bit of cover to Zach Wilson. I think you're going to get to a point where you're getting backup quarterbacks that you just don't like enough that you like Zach Wilson more because he knows the system. And honestly, that's where I'm at. If you're not giving me a Jacoby Brissett, you're not giving me a Gardner Minshew or someone that's a top-tier backup, I think Zach Wilson can be that high-tier backup with a good offensive line and some weapons, and hopefully Rodgers actually playing and learning from that. And honestly, if Rodgers goes down big time next season, it's going to be a world of hurt anyway. Now, I don't want Zach to be handed the backup quarterback job. I would like him to have to compete with it. But between offensive line, wide receiver, and backup quarterback, Jets got their issues to figure out. All right, let's go over to Sam. Sam, how you doing tonight, brother?
Oh, I'm doing pretty well. How about yourself?
Trying to be optimistic about tonight's game, I'll be honest.
The only optimistic thing I can say is Garrett Wilson is going to hit that 1,000-yard mark.
Mm-hmm.
And once he does that, they should throw every single ounce of bubble wrap they have in New York and New Jersey and just let him sit on the shelf.
Yep, 100%. I'm right there. Like, I don't. Oh, sorry. He's got a lingering ankle sprain or something. Like, don't allow him to get hurt.
Knowing this team, he'll injure himself last play, week 18, and he'll be out all next year.
Oh yeah, we'll get the ACL tear or something stupid like that. I don't want to put that bad.
No, it'll be an Achilles.
Oh yeah,
it'll be an
Achilles.
Be
something absolutely brutal because that's just how Jets luck works. It's like we lose our best player or supposed to be our best player in Rodgers at the start of the season. Something's going to go wrong. Murphy's Law, right?
I mean, we didn't lose anybody to an Achilles last week on Sunday.
Man,
and normally when we win a game, we lose someone to a season-ending injury.
It is true. It's pure luck we didn't have anything bad happen, like from a health standpoint. I just want to get out of the season healthy. That's literally all I want.
Just give us our top guys healthy. I'm completely fine with that.
Now, what do you think happens this offseason as far as going for an offensive lineman, going for a receiver? How do you think the Jets approach it?
So in the draft, I think we end up with Keon Coleman from Florida State.
Ooh,
big body wide receiver to pair with Garrett Wilson.
Love it.
I don't think Devontae Adams happens.
I hope
I
not.
just think there's
I'm very against that
I just think there's too much there that where we're picking, you could probably trade for Devontae Adams. That pick, it'll probably be, say about 10 to 12. You could trade it for Devontae Adams, but I'd rather get the wide receiver 5 years guaranteed on that rookie deal and then go out and spend some money, throw back at Mike Evans, T. Higgins, something like that instead.
Oh man. I really like the Keon Coleman pick a lot. I'm a big fan of him. Now, as far as what I would love to have happen, I want to I guess I feel like the offensive line is a little more attainable in the draft because good offensive linemen don't hit free agency, but I don't know if an offensive lineman is going to be up to snuff to start this season the way a receiver like Keon Coleman could. Like, he's an immediate impact player, which is what I was arguing for last year when we took Will McDonald. Like, I don't want another Will McDonald, even if it's on the offensive side. But a wide receiver would certainly be special. Sam, thank you so much for the call. You ejected.
You're out of here.
Cockpit. All right, boys and girls, I got about 13 minutes left here before I hop off the pregame. So if you guys want to call in, scan the QR code on the screen or click the pinned comment in the live chat. Nightbot is dropping that throughout the chat, so you can click on that. It'll bring you over to the call-in screen. Let's see. Random Man says, I'm currently watching the College Football Pop-Tarts Bowl. There was a Pop-Tart mascot who jumped out of a giant toaster. You can't tell me that doesn't sound epic. Why do we not have a mascot? It could be a Pop-Tart for all I care. I mean, honestly, it should be a pilot. Every jet needs a pilot. I mean, I guess we got Fireman Ed. But I don't know. Pop-Tarts jumping out of toasters? Let's do it. I love it. Justwin Jet says, Garrett Wilson gets to 1,000 yards tonight. I think so. I think they're going to force feed him the ball. I would like to see that and then shelve him. JT Nickerson says, I think Wilson will be the backup next year, and the following year, the Jets will draft the future quarterback after the Jets beef up the offensive line this offseason. I tend to agree. Or at least that's the route I hope they go. I would like to see Zach as the backup here because I am just deathly scared of him going to Sean Payton or some other coach, and he just balls out. Like I think there's a non-0% chance that really happens. We've been so inept and we've handcuffed him so much. It would be just like Sean Payton to take a quarterback that was discarded from his team, a la Drew Brees in San Diego, in favor of a young quarterback, Phillip Rivers. Now it worked out well for San Diego as well. But Drew Brees goes over to Sean Payton, makes him a stud. You saw the height comparisons and everything like that to Zach, but the arm strength and everything is so much greater than what Brees's was. If he can turn Zach into a faster, mobile Drew Brees, holy smokes. Holy smokes. And I really don't want to see that. I want to give us the best opportunity to potentially have that happen. I want the conundrum of Zach being so good next year that we have to have the discussion of should we move forward with him or should we move forward with Rodgers. That's what I want to have the discussion on. I mean, maybe not. Maybe I want Rodgers to play so well that it doesn't matter regardless. And then he's just a trade asset. Let's do that, right? Just want something. Fernando says, I saw some of Keon Coleman's separation stats, and it's not very pretty. Oh, all right. So I like him from his highlight perspective. I have not gone into my draft analysis yet as far as like breaking down each wide receiver in the top parts of the round. I want to get through the end of the regular season. Once I get through the end of the regular season, then we'll start kind of taking a look at the free agents, the drafts, the Senior Bowl, all that good stuff. I love the offseason, mainly because it's not... mainly because it's the only thing we have to look forward to since I've started this channel. That's the sad truth of it. Wild Wave says, Keon Coleman equals Lazard 2.0. I mean, if he's going to be Lazard 2.0, I don't want him. But Keon Coleman's a pretty big-bodied dude. He goes up and gets the ball. I don't agree with that assessment. Lazard's been pretty limp dick as far as like trying to get a contested catch or like high point a ball. I didn't see that with Keon Coleman, but I have not watched every snap. I've watched his highlight tape. So that I'm going to preface that with that. JC says, all right, I changed my mind. Jets win. You see the costumes the Browns are wearing. I have not looked. I have not looked yet. I don't have the game pulled up. Scott Bennett says, how many picks are the Jets getting? Interceptions or draft picks? Interceptions, I'm going to say 2 tonight. We're going to get 2. Raps Prime says, Zach is 100% going to go off anywhere else. We screwed him up like we always do our quarterbacks. We need to keep him and redshirt him next year properly. I just imagine we put in all this blood, sweat, and tears into Zach, like even next year, and you run into a situation where you're not going to franchise tag Zach. And then he's probably like, well, screw this. If I'm not the starter, I'm not going to do that. It's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't. Fernando says, I was watching Connor Rogers talk about him. He was wide receiver 11 on his list. Damn! That's pretty bold. I've seen Keon Coleman go pretty high in mock drafts. At least it was going pretty high. He was like, top 15, top 20 in most drafts. I'm seeing a lot of 3 wide receivers in the first 10 picks. Marvin Harrison Jr., Rome Odunes out of Washington, and the LSU receiver Malik Neighbors as the top 3 is what it looks like. JC says, what about Johnny Wilson? I don't know who Johnny Wilson is. I apologize. Biker Ray says, just took the under for Flacco yards. Go Jets. So the under for Flacco yards, at least on Underdog. What they have. I was going to go with that one too. The under on passing yards is 235.5. I could see the under. I could see the under on that one. Wild Wave says, I'll trade next year's first to move up for Marvin Harrison Jr. I mean, I would too. I would be okay with that, but I don't think you're getting up to 2. Like, I don't think the Cardinals are going to move out of that pick. I think you'd have to give up a lot more. And then when you start talking, like, I think his floor is going to be Arizona. Maybe you say the 3rd pick, unless we go 1, 2, 3 quarterbacks. Then number 4, the Patriots wind up getting Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't know. I don't think there's any way the Jets end up with Marvin Harrison. Be pretty surprised. Alon says, Keon Coleman is not that good. O'Dunes is wide receiver number 3. If we stay at 9, draft Talisi Fuega from Oregon State. He's the tackle. That's what I've kind of looked at. I've seen him bounce around a little bit. The top tackles, it looks like it's going to be Alt 1, Fashanu 2, Fuaga, or J.C. Latham 3-4. I've seen Latham a little bit higher, but he's a right tackle. I haven't watched anything on Fuaga. I just know he's like in the top 20 from what I've seen. Wouldn't be opposed to it. Alon says, Zach Wilson under Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota would be pretty interesting. It would. I wouldn't mind him going to the NFC. Don't want to see him in Denver, though. Wild Wave says, I've seen people compare O'Dunes to Devontae Adams. Really? O'Dunes is a bigger guy, too. 6'4", I think. Devontae's 6 foot, 6'1" at most. Fernando says Johnny Wilson is the 6'7" receiver out of FSU. So I really got to do my draft breakdown. Be able to go through all the receivers. I'm running most of my stuff off like projection of where we are from pick wise and like power rankings at the time of doing my mock drafts. You know what we'll do in the offseason? We'll do each show. Maybe it'll be each Monday night we'll look at a position group and we'll try to break down which players and like my favorites and everything. Maybe I'll have Dom C or T go on it with me. Those guys have been doing a lot of draft analysis. I see Zach Wilson Truther wants to join the show. Let's go over to him. Zach Truther, how you doing tonight, dude?
Good. How you doing, Ryan?
Hanging in there. I'm a little more optimistic about this game. One, because like anything positive I see from it is good versus a good defense, but I'm not optimistic from like a winning standpoint. I think we're going to get our doors kicked in.
Yeah, so it's funny. I had a blast watching half of the last game. And I just, I don't root for the draft pick. It's not logical. I just don't like it. And I respect that other people feel differently. But the one thing I will say is that even I was cheering for them to miss the field goal. Like, I don't want a cheap win,
Oh, yeah. That's what it felt like. Like, I would love to beat Washington from like we were up, by 20 points. Let's do it again. Let's keep going. And like, if you laid the like,
throat.
Oh yeah, but the way we won last week, I think pissed me off more than anything else.
100%. Like, I want a good win, not like a win where it's like I've been kind of banking on. The defense is super legit, and like all the defense had to do was pin their ears back and get a stop, and they got smoked.
Oh no, dude! It's just like it's par for the course. It's you expect it. Like, get blown out versus the Dolphins, show up the next week versus a crap team, get your doors kicked in by Joe Flacco tonight, guy you should have had or could have had as quarterback one this year after Rodgers went down, and then you go into the Patriot game, and then you wind up winning that. They get their franchise quarterback. We heard our draft pick. That's how it's all going to go down. I fully believe it.
I will say though, like storylines centered around Joe Flacco are things that losing football teams think about. So like whatever. I will say, like, I'm pretty open minded. So like, if you lose your franchise quarterback, the season's not going to go great. Like Bengals fans aren't going absolutely ballistic right now. It's sad, but like they're not worried.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, they have the quarterback though. Like we have Rodgers, but it's also like 40-year-old Rodgers coming off an Achilles injury, whereas like Burrow, I think you feel a little bit more confident in coming back.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, they have
and
hope.
The OC there. They're like Taylor's like the fact that offense is clicking the way it's clicking is a testament to the OC, I think.
That's more damning is that with Burrow down, like, there's a lot of different offenses that are making it work, and they're one of them. And it's, so it's like obviously Burrow is a premium blue chip player, but like the way it's worked has been better. One thing I'll throw out there, and you can just kind of run with it. For the life of me, I don't know why. I mean, we have nothing left to lose, right? Why wouldn't we try Mekhi Becton at guard? I know it's not like, typical, but like he's so bad at speed rushers on the edge, and he's so dominant inside. I mean, I don't think he has an NFL career as a tackle. Like, I mean, do you think an offseason switch to guard has any merit, or am I dreaming?
I think it's interesting. I feel like I don't think the Jets end up being the team to do it. I would be surprised, at least. I would love to see like him turn it, like if you could turn a bad tackle pick into a good guard selection or a decent guard, like, last case scenario, like that's fine with me. I'm cool with keeping Mekhi as, in space. He's a good, great road grader. He's just not good with the speed. Off the edge is like, he's going to get toasted by Myles Garrett tonight. Like he's going to be a turnstile.
I just don't even see any hope for it getting better. Like, it's unfortunate, but like he has the physical tools. So if he can't put it together, it is what it is. And honestly, just like flip him and Vera Tucker, because Vera Tucker, I know his arms are short, but he's played well at tackle, and tackles are way harder to find.
Oh, I 100% agree. Dude, thank you so much. Enjoy the game. You've been ejected from the cockpit. All right, we got our last caller, Alon, on the line. Alon, how you doing, brother?
Hey, what is going on, Ryan? I have to give you kudos because your rant the other day when Zerline missed that kick was classic. I thought it was one of the best things I've ever heard. I was on a plane watching that, and I almost screamed when he hit that. It was classic.
I was so pissed. So mad.
It is one of the worst wins the Jets have ever had. I totally agree with you. I think they lose tonight. The only thing that makes sense for them defensively is to put Sauce on Njoku tonight. I think that's the best matchup. I know people are talking about putting Sauce on Elijah Moore. I would not do that.
Nope.
And Njoku
I would put DJ
right
Reed on him.
Yeah, I totally agree. As far as the draft, I'm already draft ready. In my mind, I think it's so important for the Jets to get to 7. Because if I look at this draft, I say there are 3 quarterbacks that are going to go in the top 7. I think it's going to be Williams,
Daniels gets in?
May, and Daniels will go in the top 7. And to me, there are 4 guys that I covet as a Jet. I covered the 2 receivers in Neighbors and MHJ Jr., and I covet the 2 tackles. And I think if they get one of those 4 guys, I would not trade back. But those to get to 7, and I think if they lose out, I think it's realistic because I think the Bears win Sunday against the Falcons. And I could totally see the Chargers or the Titans win one game. So the goal is to get 7. It was horrible they won last week because, again, I'm a Joe Alt guy from day one. Joe Alt is really the perfect Jet. So the only problem I have and the question I have for you, and I've asked this to other guys, who is our starting left tackle next year?
Ooh, it's going to be Bakhtiari. 100% Bakhtiari.
I got destroyed when I said that.
I've been calling it since last offseason. I've been saying Bakhtiari is going to be the left tackle. It's going to happen. And now I think it happens this offseason. He's going to get cut from Green Bay, and then AVT will be the emergency left tackle. They're going to want to try and keep him at right guard. I think he could be right tackle potentially if you don't get one in the draft. But I think it's going to be much easier to convince Bakhtiari to protect Rodgers than it is to try and get one of the top tackles in the draft.
And one other comment about J.C. Latham. So I'm a huge Iowa fan. So Caden Proctor is the left tackle right now at Alabama. Again, he was an Iowa commit for 3 years until the last moment when he went to Alabama, and now he's starting at left tackle. JC Latham is 360 pounds right now.
Oh,
I am
man, are
not
we having
putting
the same kind of Mekhi Becton situation?
Again, I was livid when they didn't draft Tristan Wirfs because I'm an Iowa guy, and I love Tristan Wirfs to death, and I thought it was one of the worst moves. So I am not drafting a 360-pound JC Latham to play left tackle. No chance. And to me, he's more of a right guard. The one thing about Fuega, and I've watched his tape over the last couple of weeks, I think he is the only guy amongst the top 5, other than the top 2, that I could see play more of a left tackle role. I think he starts off as a right tackle, but I would never in a million years play Latham at left tackle. I don't think it fits. I think he's more of a guard.
I think I could see him at right tackle. Now, what that would be weird if I don't want to draft a guard in the first round. Like the whole AVT thing, especially with the 5th-year option coming up, it's gonna bite us in the butt. But yeah, I guess I see Latham as right tackle if you wind up getting him. But
realize one thing about AVT, and people don't realize this: the trade they made up to get AVT. The Jets did not get the best. The Jets did not get the best player in the deal.
No, well,
Christian Darrisaw is actually the best player in that deal. He's a true left tackle. He's, in my opinion, one of the top 5 left tackles in the league. So as much as people love AVT, he's a guard. He's not a tackle. He's a left guard.
We gave up 2 third-round picks to get him, and your 5th-round option or your 5th-year option is the price of a left tackle anyway. So like we definitely, with him getting hurt, we definitely did not get the best end of that deal.
We did not. So I really, again, as I said, that rant was classic. And I've been getting killed on different shows because I am the tank truther, I guess, because I wanted them to lose at 4-7. I wanted them to lose out because I wanted Joe Alt. And to me, blowing a 27-7 lead against the Commanders and winning on a 54-yard field goal was absolutely meaningless to me. It was meaningless. It meant nothing. So I know people want to win games. It's bullshit. These are bullshit wins, in my opinion.
2 wins. 2 wins is what separates us from Nick Bosa and Trevor Lawrence on this team.
That is true. Absolutely right. So I appreciate your rant, and maybe other Jet fans will understand our heartache in blowing these games. Again, last week was a loss. It was not a win.
If we wind up losing these next 2 games and that win cost us the 3 pick, I'm going to be so fucking mad if Marvin Harrison Jr.
I think they're losing tonight. I think they're losing tonight. Tonight's going to get ugly. Again, as I said, I think Trevor Simeon's in the hospital by the 2nd quarter. Okay,
it's going to be bad.
It's a bad look tonight. Okay, tonight I would not be surprised if you see Brett Rippon tonight. I would not. Okay, Myles Garrett, 3.5 sacks. I would take the over tonight. He is going to destroy them tonight.
Oh, jeez, brother, hoping for a loss tonight. Thank you so much for the call in.
Absolutely, man.
Later. You've been ejected from the cockpit. All right, boys and girls. If you guys want to get in on the Underdog Fantasy Pick'em lineups, use the link in the description. If you use my promo code JETS247, they'll match your first $100. It's pretty fun. I've been having a good time with it. Don't tell them I would do it if they didn't sponsor me, but if you do use my code, it helps out the channel, and they may continue sponsoring me, which allows me to make some more cool Jet content for you guys. So I'll be back for my post game. I'll be on Green Bean's halftime show over on Green Bean Jet Fan with O'Leary. So if you guys want to check us out for that, get some of our thoughts mid-game, then I'll be back here post-game to talk to you boys and girls, do a little phone calls, things of that nature. See Dakota in there. He's saying bum. Love you, boys and girls. I'll see you after the game.
Cover him!